All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's market color session. My name is Sabi Abi, and I'll be taking the first half of this analysis, doing a detailed breakdown of commodity currencies, which include NZD-USD, AUD-USD, and USD CAD. Good morning, PAG Exchange, Gabriel Easy, the rest of us, and those of us also on YouTube. It's good to have everyone here. Okay, so let us now look at what the market has in store for us today. We're going to be using our all-weather strategy to do a detailed breakdown of this system. And if you remember during our last analysis last week, we had marked out certain level points. That's page. We had marked out certain level points we wanted price to trade into, and just as we predicted, just as we marked out, price is doing exactly that. So I'm going to start with NZD-USD from the H4 time frame. Now remember that last week we saw this already giving signs to the downside, and we had marked out certain level points on our 1 hour time frame to be our point of interest. And I also said or recommended that we take note of the price point at the right hand side for the sake of those of us who do not have the indicators on our chart, right? And for those of us who did exactly that, we see that price has been obeying. It has been obeying everything we marked out. So we had 3 points of interest on NU, 0.59570, 59212 and 58925. Price is now very, very close to our first point of interest being the 0.59570. However, looking at price now, I'm seeing that there is a previous resistance that could act as current support right here. You see this level. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it clearly. All right, sorry about that brief interruption. So yes, this is a previous resistance zone that price has currently traded into now, and it's going to be acting as a support. So we should be seeing price do this temporarily, move back up a bit, and eventually break down, right? So yes, price is respecting everything we drew, but let's go to the 5-minute time frame and mark out even more specific POIs using our Control Y tool to get our period separators. We now want to mark out certain level zones, and what are those levels we're looking at? Yesterday's high, low, day before yesterday's high, and low. Just give me a second while I remove the grid on the chart so we can clearly see. Perfect. So I am now going to be marking out yesterday's high, which is right here, and yesterday's low, somewhere down below. It has already been broken through. Then I'm going to mark out day before yesterday's high and day before yesterday's low. Price already validated that as well, and it has also validated. So the next level point it is now looking like it's going to be trading into is day before yesterday's low, right? So now price has broken through this level, it's trading back into this level. This is what we're going to see. For those of us who took the retracement trades, I took a retracement of NZD-USD because it gave me the opportunity to do that. So I'm already getting ready to take profit from this reversal trades, right? But when price gets into this zone, we will see price retrace back into this momentum indicator first. And then if price now continues to keep trading to the downside, we will see breakout structures continuously being formed to the downside. If that happens, where is the next possible level it's going to sell off into before we now see a continuation of this buy move? Maybe somewhere around the 0.58925. So I hope you understand why you mark out these different points of interest, right? The sole purpose is just so we have price. They serve as a, should I say, a cushion that should either hold price or price should break below, retest, and continue downward, right? So yes, as a quick recap for the sake of those of us that just joined us, what I'm seeing on NZD-USD, looking at our most recent price action, price has been buying, and we expected price to retrace into certain levels. Price is already doing that. But we're now saying that when price retraces into these levels, we should either see one of two things, of course, as the market always does. Either we see NZD-USD continue to buy after finding support at these different levels, or it is going to break below these levels and continue to the downside. I hope this is clear. If it is clear, please tell me. If it is not and you have any question, this is the right time to type that down before I proceed or while I proceed into the next one, so that you're typing as I'm analyzing, and then when I'm done, I simply come back to your questions and answer them, right? Okay, so let us now look at the next asset class, which is NZD, AUD, USD rather. Seeing as we're looking at commodity currencies, the next asset class we're looking at is AUD, USD, using the all-weather strategy. Perfect. So we now have AUD, USD, H4 time frame, very similar to what we saw on NU. Sunshine was printed, indicating that people who were buying this move had taken profit out of the market and were expecting price to retrace into what levels? That's on the H1 level now. So we're looking at price retracing into where price already retraced into, the first one being our momentum, the second one being our pullback, and the third being our trend. So price has now retraced into the first point of interest right here. The second point of interest is just below this level. Now, what am I saying? If price finds support here, we're going to see AUD/USD continuation, buy continuation from this level. If it does not find support here and keeps digging deeper, where is the next level it's finding support? Somewhere around here, 0.64336 or 0.6363. Now, this is the 1 hour time frame, so it's a lot of data. Let's now go to the M5 time frame and mark out even more specific POI. Now, what am I marking out on the M5? Again, this is what I do every time I use the all-weather strategy. We use yesterday's high, yesterday's low, day before yesterday's high, and day before yesterday's low. All right, so yes, AUD/USD M5 time frame now. This is what I'm saying. Price has violated the first three POIs on M5. The next POI that should hold is this from our H1 time frame, which is 0.64336. And if this does not hold, then the second one will be down here, right? So if I was taking the reversal trade, you know that these different points of interest will now be my take partial levels. Take partials, let the rest run, take partials, let the rest run. So now that I'm seeing this, if price continues to violate these zones, then it is safe to say that AUD/USD is going to be selling all the way into 0.63633 before we see a continuation of the 1 hour move, right? If it continues to violate. And if price comes here, breaks below, then what are we doing? We always want to react and see what the market is doing. And that is why it is so important to be flexible. So if this validates, I'm going to look for opportunities to sell, right? If not, and I find support and it gives me my confirmation, I'll be buying AUD/USD. And if you go back to the 4 hour time frame and you look at the overall major structure from this point all the way down here, it is very possible that AUD/USD continues selling, because this could now be somewhere around like 73% Fibonacci level. If we feed this entire thing downward, and we're going to do the move everything downward from here. Right. So yes, this is what I'm seeing on USD card now. USD card H4, what am I looking at? So everything we've been seeing here, just like we said, price has been selling. When price came back to this level, we're looking at USD card sell continuation, which you see price already did that. So currently now, we now have a new sunshine. New sunshine basically means what? Profit taking has occurred, we should see a retracement. So because I now have this in mind, I'll go down to 1 hour time frame and I'm going to mark out certain levels which should serve as my point of interest for the sell, or rather the temporal buy retracement to trade into. So my first retracement level will now be the Keltner channel, this first green one, the momentum, and then the second one will be somewhere between the red and the orange. So yes, if price comes here, it gives me confirmation for sell continuation. Certainly, I'll continue selling USD card to the downside. And if not, and it continues to buy, I'm going to be acting accordingly. I hope this is helpful to somebody. Let me know if this is clear. If there's any sort of confusion also, let me know so I can fix that. So Paige asked that we look at XAUSD. Kindly note though, that different days have different asset classes that we look at, and we don't just look at random asset classes. So there are fixed days for different asset classes, but we're going to take a quick look at gold today. So on gold now, on the H4 time frame, predominantly everything has been clearly to the upside. Sunshine has been printed. We missed the retracement move, but it has now retraced back into our momentum. So now that it is inside this momentum, let's look at the H1. On the H1 time frame, is it inside what could have served as our point of interest? I'm going to go ahead and mark out this. Go ahead and mark out this as well, right? And then I'm also going to go ahead and mark out the momentum, which price has already validated. Now, these are levels I'll be looking at to see if we hold. If they do hold and confirmations are met, we'll continue the buy of gold to the upside. And if they don't and they are violated, we look for our entry pattern to be formed and take the sell. Now on M5, I'm just going to mark out those highs and lows that we always do. They serve as our resistance and support zones. Basically, the highs and lows are basically resistance and support levels. Okay. So I've marked out day before yesterday's high, mark out yesterday's high, which is right here. I'm going to go ahead and mark out yesterday's low, somewhere around this zone, and then day before yesterday's low. Perfect. So now that I've drawn this page, what do we think is going to happen on gold? I'm expecting price to do this, right? I'm expecting a move back here. When price comes into this zone back, I may be interested in taking a quick sell of gold into this next point of interest. But if we're going to be waiting for our H1 move, we're going to be waiting for our H1 move. We want to see what price does. It would have been better if we started taking this sell retracement from the top. You know, gold is a very volatile asset class. So if we're going to jump in for a sell right now, where would our stop loss be? It's a question you always have to ask yourself. Because if I take a sell of gold now, from where price currently is, that's following the retracement, my stop loss is going to be some above this, serving as my protected high. So from here, if I were to enter from here all the way to that point is over 600 pips. That is a lot of money to use as a stop loss, right? So I'm going to prefer if price retraces back into the zone, so my stop loss gets tighter. And if my take profit is worth it, because even if price retraces back into the zone and I want to enter from this point and take it up here, you see it's still over 400 pips as a stop loss. So what will now be my take profit? Am I going for a 1:1 or am I going for a 1:2? Imagine I was going to take my first day profit at this zone. It is now somewhere around 360 something pips. So that's a 1:0 point something risk to return. Except my take profit is somewhere I'm targeting this zone or this zone. So that at the barest minimum, it is a 1:1, right? So yes, this is what I'm saying on gold. Predominantly, our structure is still very much to the upside. This is temporal. Price gave us room to take reversal trades. So let's say we missed it. Now price is currently here. What am I seeing? I expect you to retrace back into the zone. When you retrace in here and this resistance level holds, then we're going to see gold continue to serve. This level holds, we should see a sell, and this will be the next support level that could give gold a bit of a tough time. But if it's able to break below this zone, then it is going to be headed for the next point of interest. Please take note of the price points on the right-hand side, because I know you do not have the indicators. So yes, that's pretty much it for today. We're going to do a recap in the afternoon and take a look at indices in the afternoon as well. So please do well to join that. It's going to be starting at 2 p.m. Do well to join that. We could take a quick look at Forex Factory to see if we have any high impact news release that we should watch out for, so we're not taking off guard. So Forex Factory. Forex Factory, today is the 27th. What do we have coming out? We only have one high impact news coming out, and that is on the yen, right? That's on the yen. So we're not really seeing too much on these asset classes that we just looked at, commodity currencies. We're not seeing too much happening on those asset classes. How about this? Sorry, my voice is kind of shaking today. The weather is getting to me. Okay, so Forex performance on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, we're just going to wait for that load up so that we have real-time data. Okay, perfect. So on the daily, we now see dollar being the strongest currency, and every other thing is selling against the dollar. Dollar is gradually gaining strength. It's not exactly even that strong, but it's the strongest compared to the others. Yen being the weakest. Remember, we always say that we want to pair strong currencies versus weak currencies. So you could also take advantage of what you're seeing and pair up USD versus JPY as an asset class you want to pay attention to. But for the sake of our analysis, USD being the strongest, AUD and NZD being sort of weak, we can now go back to our chart. So if the dollar is strong and AUD is weak, we're looking at what continuation or sell-off continuations of AUD USD, and you see that it has been selling. So if this continues to break below, we're going to keep seeing more sales of AUD USD down all the way to this point. But then if these levels hold, we should see buy resumption. Okay, that's pretty much it for this session. Thank you so much for joining. It's been an amazing time with everyone. I hope this was helpful to at least one person. I see us, EDX, Gabriel, Easy, Joseph, Victor, Asapa. Good to have you all here. We'll convene by 2 p.m. Please do not go anywhere. Thanks. Cheers and God bless. Have a profitable trading day. Bye.